Alright, and welcome to Factoring the GCF. Now you might be wondering, what is the GCF? Well, it is in fact the greatest common factor. Essentially what we're saying is whenever we have these expressions, give me 1 second. Remember, it wouldn't be a Hastings video if there weren't sirens at some point, right? So, we're going to factor out the greatest common factor, and basically that's the largest number or the largest factor that we can pull from each term. So when we take a look right here, when I look at 2, 8, and 6, I'm asking myself, what is the biggest factor that I can pull from each one of those? And in this very nice first example, well, that's going to be 2. In fact, let me use a different color here. So what are we going to do? We're going to factor out 2, and essentially we're saying, hey, what is 2 divided by 2? What is 8 divided by 2? What is 6 divided by 2? What are my leftovers going to be? Well, 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we're left with 1x squared. 8 divided by 2 is 4x, and 6 divided by 2 is 3, and so check it out. We have now gotten our x squared where it has a coefficient of 1 by factoring out the greatest common factor. Okay, let's take a look at example number 2. Okay, so the question becomes, what is the largest number that I can take out of 4, negative 12, and 28? And I hope that you would say 4. They are all divisible by 4. So we're going to say, you know what? We're going to take out a 4. We're going to put that in front. And wait a second, 4 divided by 4, negative 12 divided by 4, and 28 divided by 4. What in the world is that going to give us? Well, 4 over 4 gives us that nice 1x squared. That's going to help us factor in the future x squared. We know that negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3x, and 28 divided by 4 is, of course, 7. Perfect. So if we factor out the greatest common factor, this is what it looks like. Let's move on to our third example. Okay, let's look at kind of an unusual example. 20x squared plus 30x minus 50. Now remember, we are asking ourselves, what is the largest number that can be pulled out of 20, 30, and 50? Now in our previous cases, we were actually able to pull out just that initial number 20, but here I'd ask you, can 30 be divided by 20? No. Can negative 50 be divided by 20? No. So what's the biggest number or the greatest common factor we can pull from all of these? Well, it is in fact 10. So what's this going to look like? Well, we put our 10 and we go through, and 20 divided by 10 will give us 2x squared. 30 divided by 10 will give us 3x, and negative 50 divided by 10 will give us negative 5. Notice here the a term is not equal to 1. So for something like this, the reason I show you this is we can't use simple factoring. We can't use simple factoring. And you know what, guys? Sometimes that's okay. We'll just need a new method, which we'll learn in our very next video. Okay, good luck on these problems, and I'll see you in our next video.